I was enjoying the music. Good morning, my family. Good morning, Wiser Nation. What a joy to have us together again on day 27. I'm going to miss you when we're gone. Day 27, glory to God for life and health and strength and for people who are on a journey with you. It can be lonely when you can find people who are like you, going where you're going, thinking the way you think. I am so grateful for you all that are on this journey with me, and I'm privileged to be on the journey with you. Thank you for the privilege of your time, attention, and comradeship or camaraderie. Yes, that's the word. We are almost there. I see y'all. I see y'all. I see all my people, and I say good morning to everybody. I have a question here from one of the WISER groups. We have just two WISER groups actually. We had many more, but now that WhatsApp allows groups up to 1,000 people, we try to merge them so that the work on Nancy is reduced. Sending messages to different groups, getting information from, I think we had about 9 groups at some point. Yeah, they were not even, many of the groups weren't, what's the word? What's the word now? Some of the people weren't responding. So I think it was a good cleanup. So the question here says, supposing you have younger ones who refuse to yield to corrections. I don't know the name of the person. It's a number here on my phone. Who refuse to yield to corrections, are arrogant and insult you or anyone whenever such a person kicks against their erring behavior. What is the thought, or what is thought to be the wise thing in such a situation? In fact, they have warned such person to butt out of their issue and refuse communicating to such person. Does such one still voice out or advise these younger ones, or just let them be for peace to reign? The good thing about being a student, not a follower, is a student will dig deep because everything is context based. Everything is context based. No two situations are the same, and the emotions around different situations are different. So there is no one correct answer to this. There are answers based on different circumstances. For example, if you are the one in this situation and you don't feel like giving up, then don't give up. As simple as that. If you feel, you know what, I've done my bits, I've put it on record that I have tried to correct these ones, and so this is how I'm going to love them from a distance, then you're also right. If you feel, oh, I have done my bit, I'm just going to stay this way. Whenever they need me, I am here. I will not turn away from them. I'm just keeping a long distance. I don't even have a plan of how exactly I'm going to love them. Then you are also correct, right? And if you think, you know what, I still want to push. Who else can I call? What else can I do? How should I? And you still want to go dig deeper. Once again, you are correct. It's still all dependent on these variables. So I throw it back to you to say, how do you feel? And how do you feel the response to how you feel is if you think you have done all. I've said it several times, maybe not here at WISER, but I say to myself that sometimes when I say, or when we say we've done everything, it means we've done everything we know, or we think we've done everything, but maybe we haven't really done everything. So if you agree with yourself that you have actually done everything and you want to leave it be, that's fine. In answering the question, have I done everything? You might start asking, what are the different types of intervention I could apply? And you start writing them out. Write, not think. You start writing them out. I can apply this kind of intervention. I can correct in this way. And you might write 4 or 5, and you realize you've done only 3, or you've done all of 3 out of the 5, and you say, you know what, This year I'll try these other two methods, and if they don't work by the end of the year, then I am handsing off. Right? These are ways to approach it, and it relates to almost everything we do in life. There is almost never a one way, almost never. Not please don't quote me and say there's never a one way. There are sometimes there's only one thing to do about a thing, but then again, most times it's difficult to have just one solution. In neuro linguistics programming, we say when you have one option, please, NLP practitioners here, please remind me. I haven't used this quote in a long time. One option is like a tragedy, right? Two options, a dilemma. Three or more options, then you have potential for solution. Never, ever, 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 ever. So now I'm taking back my words. I just said that sometimes there's only one solution. It's not true. There's never a time when it's just one solution. Never, ever, 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 ever allow yourself be in a one only kind of solution. See, one situation only kind of situation. One solution only kind of situation. One solution only kind of situation. Never allow it. The more options you create for yourself, the more possibilities for solving issues. So that's what is taught in improving the way you live. Create options. What are the other options? There is not, if there's one, very bad. Two, dilemma. Three or more, regard it. Create options. Is this clear? Does this help? I believe it does. I'm hoping. Yeah, exactly. Okay, we still come back to you for rescue, and it cost you so much at that bad point, then keep doing to help them. Yes. Yeah. Okay. The more options we create, the better. So let's jump into our chapter for today. Chapter 27, we're still working with the Message translation, which is one of my favorites for conversations like this. Chapter 27, verse 1. Don't brashly announce what you're going to do tomorrow. You don't know the first thing about tomorrow. In fact, somewhere further down in the Gospels, Jesus said, don't say, I will see you tomorrow, I will do this tomorrow. He said, say, by the grace of God. It's actually written there. Just give me a moment. I'm trying to find it. Please, if you find that scripture, put it in the chat where Jesus was speaking and he said, you can't brashly say, I believe it was Jesus. It was Jesus speaking. I said, don't brashly say, this is what you're going to do tomorrow. Say, by the grace of God, if God wills, this is what will happen. We don't know the first thing. So as much as we are confident in our tomorrow, we are not brash. What's the difference? What is brash? Oh, yesterday I kept remembering malice. Self-assertive in a rude, noisy, or overbearing way. Be assertive, but not in a rude, cocky, overbearing, noisy, arrogant, ostentatious way. Yeah, no. Say it with assertion, with assertiveness, not with arrogance. Don't call attention to yourself. That's verse 2. Let others do that for you. Now, strike the balance. Not that you shouldn't put yourself out there to be seen, heard, noticed because of what you have to offer the world. It's saying don't be unnecessary about it, right? Don't go overboard trying to sell the markets that no one has tested. As much as you have the markets, there's something we call testimonials. Who else can say about you this thing that you're saying about yourself? We in the series, not series, in the session that we would have in January where we'll teach how to be convincing, we're going to talk more about the use of testimonials. But I can elucidate that right now. There is a power that comes. Oh, Justice, if you can copy the whole quote and put it here, I'll be so grateful. There is a power that comes from someone else speaking to your credibility, speaking to yeah, your credibility, your stuff, your power, your strength, and that is besides yourself. I always talk about how I worked for Atedo Peterside several times, well, a few times, and then I asked him to give me a testimonial. He did. I put it on my website and in my profile, and that one testimonial got me a lot of attention and work. People go, oh, if Atedo Peterside will say this about you, then we trust you. So many of us actually have people who can speak on our behalf, but haven't asked for that social proof. There may be people who will speak about you. You call them what? References on your CVs? Is that what we call them? We refer to them as such. How else can we ask people to give us social proof? How else can we ask people to speak on our behalf? I may not be able to go into that office and open that door and speak about myself, but sir, ma, auntie, uncle, brother, sister, if you go in there and speak about me, people will listen. So we can also orchestrate it and make it happen. I'm so curious. I have to see that Luke 12:19. Let me just open it here. Luke 12:19 says, but God said to him, this fool. Is there an idea like, anyway, we'll keep searching. I think it's James, eh? Okay. We proceed. But that scripture, please, if you can open it and paste it here, the James 1. Verse 3, carrying a log across your shoulders while you're hefting a boulder with your arms is nothing compared to the burden of putting up with a fool. Do you know what a boulder is? That massive rock that some people use, sometimes as a cornerstone or use decoratively. If you're familiar with Echo Atlantic City right now, where it used to be Bar Beach, there are these massive rocks there. If you go all the way to the beach along Oniru, you would see those massive rocks that have been placed there to stop the water from coming over its banks. Boulders, massive rocks like that. And then sometimes some people use them for decorative purposes. In Port Harcourt, I don't know if it's still so, but under that bridge at CFC, that lady now, what's her business name? The lady who used to decorate Port Harcourt. She had those beautiful big stones, boulders there. Said carrying a boulder with your arms heavy, in fact, it's almost difficult for a human being to carry a boulder by himself or herself, is nothing compared to the burden of putting up with a fool. Meaning that if we continue in foolish ways in 2023, it will be hard. It will be difficult. So thank you very much. James 4:15, thank you. Instead, you ought to say, if it's the Lord's will, we will live and do this or do that. Yes. Whereas you do not know what your life will be like tomorrow, for you are mist that appears for a little while and disappears. We shouldn't speak about our tomorrow with brashness. Today or tomorrow, we'll travel to this city and we'll spend a year there and we'll do business and make some profits. Yet you don't know what your life will be like tomorrow. Instead, say, if it's the Lord's will, we will leave and do this or that. So we're clearly instructed to do this. To say this, I'm just going back because I'm reading the chats. To say this, and even if we don't say it all the time, we should think it. Elizabeth Alfred, that's her name. Yes, thank you. Elizabeth Alfred used to have these lovely boulders across Port Harcourt. I used to love looking at them and hoping that someday I'll take photos, but I never did. Yes, so that's about that for that. 2023 is the year of not putting up with fools or foolishness. Not putting up with fools or foolishness. From who? From me first. From self first. Joyce, I'm not going to put up with foolishness. I'm not going to put up with your foolishness. I'm not going to allow you be foolish in 2023. I'm going to allow you do what's right, even if it hurts. Verse 4, we are blasted by anger, swamped by rage, but who can survive jealousy? Self check. Everybody say self check. Ding. Self check. Who am I jealous of right now? What am I jealous of right now? Even if I haven't admitted it, I haven't given myself permission to be true that this thing I feel right here is jealousy. The feeling or showing an envious resentment of someone or their achievements, possessions, or perceived advantages. Feeling or showing a resentful suspicion that one's partner is attracted to or involved with someone else. Just give me a moment, please. Cheers to clear throats. My second best water, Nestle Green, because it has zinc, and zinc is supposed to be an energizer of sorts. I hope it's for real, but I drink it. It was introduced to me by one of my mentors, 2016 or 2017, I think. And she was like, "Oh, Joyce, whatever." I think that was 2016 or 15 now. We had a road show. We went to about 11 different cities for a performance, and she just kept loading us with this water. She says, we're stressed. Zinc helps you increase antioxidants, blah, 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 blah. So drink this whenever you're very, very busy. Make sure you have your zinc water close to you. Or if you don't have zinc water, ensure you have zinc supplements, blah, 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 blah. Auntie, hello, it's me. I love you. Thank you. So who are you jealous of, Joyce? Who are you jealous of? Or what? Who am I showing resentment to, even though subtly? Who am I avoiding? Who is that person that makes me do this when I hear the person's name or they pass by because I feel they've achieved something that I should have achieved, or something they don't deserve, or they have gone ahead of me, or, well, I just feel they have some advantages and life wasn't fair and God wasn't fair and gave them what he should have given me. It's Nestle Pure Life. Nestle Pure Life Zinc. Free advertisements. Nestle Zinc, the one with the green cover. So there's a Nestle water with blue. This is green. It's self-check. Who might I be jealous of? And then the second one was about resentful suspicion that one's partner is attracted to someone else. Why? So what's leading to that? Who can survive jealousy? Is it the person who is jealous, or the one who is jealous of, or who is being jealous? So let's use a relationship, right? A husband is jealous of his wife's colleague who he thinks his wife is too friendly with, resentful suspicion. Who is going to survive that jealousy? Is it the colleague who the husband is suspicious of, or is it the wife, or is it the husband himself? All three people are roped in a potential problematic situation, because the husband may say, I don't want you talking with this guy. I don't like the way you interact with him. Da, 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 da. Yes, you were good friends before. Now I'm on the scene. He should clear out. Then work relations are strained because wife and colleague cannot speak like they used to, even though they still work together. Wife might be upset with husband because she's like, nothing is happening here. He's just my friend. And then colleague is saying, I've lost this friend. I can't even go to their house and eat Christmas rice anymore. So who has survived it? You tell me, who can survive jealousy? It's for us to check and catch ourselves and ask ourselves, why am I jealous about this person? Why am I threatened by them? What do they have that I don't have? It's a jealousy, in my opinion, can be linked, not always, please, there's no absolutes, not always, but can be linked to self-value, self-value, which gives birth to what? Self-esteem. That's why am I threatened by this person? It's a good question to ask whenever you're threatened by someone. Why? What exactly is making me threatened about this? Have I done the work that they've done? There was somebody that I felt threatened by in my space. And so years ago, I sat down and said, Joyce, why are you threatened by her? Oh, and there was a him too. Why? And I said, have you done the work they've done? Did you have the what's it called now? One of them was an on-air personality for some time. And so I said, remember, you always teach MCs to try as best they can to have exposure on radio or TV, because it is indeed a catapult. People get to see you faster, want you, desire you. They watch you on TV and say, oh, that should be the MC of our program. They have no clue whether you can MC an event, because I've seen some of the worst MCs are on-air personalities because they are not used to working with live audiences. And that's my truth. So they're very good with the radio, TV, because they're working with cameras, but when they walk into a room, they don't know what to do with all this energy here. I've seen some of the worst MCs are, not always, but I've seen some. Some have been extremely bad. Very good on radio, very poor in front of a crowd. Two different ways to work the crowd. So if you can get exposure, even if it's for free on radio or TV, constantly, that people can see and interact with, it helps build your MC career. So I said, you can't be jealous of him because he's been on radio for so long and has had a sterling career, the same. So be happy that it has turned. And that was the defining moment for me. That day, that all that just left me like, oh, okay. So give yourself some credit without that quality of exposure on radio. See how far you've come. And you bloody live in Uyo. At that time, I was living in Uyo. I had lived in Uyo 8 years. Do you know, I saw one of my mentees, as it were, recently, a young MC who is doing so well, and oh, we met somewhere, and he went on and on about how he got so far. He read my book, he attended one of my programs. Oh, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And he now asked me something about something, and I said, okay, yeah. Then I was living in New York. He said, you live in New York? I said, I lived in New York for 10 years. All these years you're talking about that you followed me, I lived in New York. And he was like, so how? You see, so I had to go back to give myself credit, which is what building the blocks of self-value. For those of you who attended or have watched the Courage and Confidence webinar that I gave for free, you would see where we talked about things you love and admire about yourself, your strengths, your capacities, your capabilities. When you go back to see them, understand them, know them, appreciate them, then it increases your worth, your value, and then will also build your self-esteem, right? If you haven't improved the quality of your person enough, you have no business being jealous of those who have. Rather be challenged by them and say, if they did this, not in a bad way, not in a spiteful way, if they were able to do this, Joyce, challenge yourself, brace up, do the work, and get on out there. A spoken reprimand, wow, verse 5, is better than approval that's never expressed, meaning speak up. If someone has done something you like, tell them. Tell them. It's better to speak up, whether it's to reprimand or to correct. If it's kept in your heart, even if it's a good thing, even if you feel so wonderful about it, but you haven't said it. Communication is key. Verbal communication is so important. 2023 is the year that I speak up. 2023 is the year I speak up, whether to approve or to reprimand. So I think I've mentioned this as at a WISER, well, one of these online programs. I talk about how over the years I found that when something is wrong, it's easy to say, call me your manager. Call me your manager. You go to a place, a restaurant, somewhere, something happens, your airport, you want to complain, you say, let me see the manager. The moment the manager comes out, what do they say? Adam, what's the problem? They tend to say that, and I think it's irksome to say that. Rather come out and say, Madam, how may I help? Because there may not be a problem. Some of us are so used to expecting problems that somebody calls you, somebody who hasn't spoken with you in a long time calls you or calls you at some odd hour, and the first thing you say, what's the problem? Like, that's bad programming, bad programming, bad programming. Stop it. When you see a call at an odd hour, yeah, how now, what's up? Or yeah, it could be frightening. It could also be great news that couldn't wait till tomorrow, and that's why they're calling you at 11:30. That's always my first response. That'd be good news. It's reprogram. So the manager comes out and says, so what's the problem? I go, there is no problem. I called you out to let you know that Stephanie over here, Angela over here, Alabi, all were very courteous today. They took good care of me. I just wanted to say thank you. If they had been rude, I would have called you out to complain. So today I wanted to commend them in front of you that they've been exceptional. Thank you. I started doing that over time, and I realized how much sunshine it just gives people. So in the same place that you could have complained if things were wrong, when things go right, please open your mouth and say thank you. You eat at a restaurant, say compliments to the chef. In fact, there was once I went the extra mile in the Aproko over Sabiwe and said, I want the chef to come out. It was sometime in Abuja. Was that last year or 2 years ago? I said, please, can the chef come out? And when it was a she came out. We were like, the food was amazing. I don't know when last anybody appreciated you like this. We just felt we should brighten your day by saying, thank you. Great food. And if we could ever come back, we will. Can you imagine how she would feel? She might have been working in that restaurant for 4 years and nobody has ever called her out to say thank you. So how about we be the ones to add sunshine to someone's day by giving approval that is expressed, not only reprimands, right? Let's do that. Verse 6, the wounds from a lover are worth it. Kisses from an enemy do you in. If a lover hurts you whilst trying to correct you, save you, bless you, it's all worth it. An enemy is kissing you and is just trying to destroy you, run. Verse 7. When you've stuffed yourself, you refuse dessert. When you're starved, you could eat a horse. When you're starved of anything, whether it's food, love, attention, starved of knowledge, you will take almost anything. 2023 is the year of being replete, being stuffed, as it were. I will love myself so that I am not accepting any kind of love. I will respect myself, value myself, so that I will not accept being mistreated just because I want to be in people's company. Please, if you understand me, say I understand. When we are starved of knowledge, we binge on social media deep without questioning some things we see and say, is this right, true? If you have fed yourself like you are doing right now with the right quality of wisdom, when you see some kinds of broadcasts Before you say, oh, this what happened, you will say, hold on, let me recheck. Let me Google it. It is people who are starved. So I always say it, if I interact with you for 10 minutes, I hear the kinds of words that come out of you. I can tell so much about you. If you accept anything, I can tell that you are pretty empty. That's why you can eat a horse. You can take in, feel yourself. You know how my mom used to do it? I'm sure there's some mothers of us, some of our mothers who used to do it. But before we go for a party, my mother would sit us down and feed us. I used to hate it. I used to be so upset. She would sit us down and feed us. I still remember so much. We were going for one party in Auntie Henshaw's house in Rumasi. And I was so ready to go and eat jollof rice, party rice, chim chim, chim chim, and all those things. My stomach, I was just excited about the party. Next, my mother called all of us to sit at the dining table and come and eat rice. Like, what? What? No, it was not rice, it was a bar. But we're going for a party. So that when you go there, you will behave yourself in case the food is not enough. In case the food, you're fine. Stuff yourself so that you're not rushing for what you shouldn't be rushing for. Right? Eat your own chim chim. Cook your own chim chim. Fry your own chim chim. Buy your own chim chim. Eh? Then they can't give you a bar with maybe a goosey soup or something. But then, guess what? When you got to the party, and do you know why I remember this very well? I even remember the color of the fence in that compound. I think there were two flats, and they were staying in one of the flats. There's two flats in one compound. The party was in the compound there. It was painted a light green. Do you know why I remember it so well? Because I remember the emotions. You know how we say we remember emotions? I remember the emotions of going for that program, that party, with full stomach. And I got there and they were bringing out the rice, not immediately when we got there, we sat. They were bringing out the rice in these small plates, cute plates, different colors. And the face of the rice, I didn't like. Normally, when you see rice you want to eat, I didn't like the face. So when they gave me my own, I tasted it. And it tasted like rice that had not been well. The tomato was still raw-ish. That was the first time in my life that I remember being grateful I had eaten before coming out. That was also the first time I must have been in maybe primary 4. Primary 4, primary 5. Yeah, thereabouts. And me being a food lover till today, people, you are my friends, you know me, I am a fooder. Fooder higher, not lower, higher. That was one of the first times I remember. It might have happened, but this one I am conscious of, that at a party, I was not eager to eat the rice. Even the meat was fried hard. I like fried meat that's soft. And at that time, as much as I would have hated to admit it, I was grateful that she allowed us eat before coming out, because I would have been hungry. It would have been so disappointed. So I put my plate down. And we were raised not to waste food. People who know me know that I don't know how, even now, I still struggle to keep food in my plate. So I'd rather serve myself a very small portion so that I don't weight it. Exactly. It had the 4 days at the Henshaws. Mommy, you see, I remember, and I love you and I thank you. The 4 days at the Henshaws. I couldn't make this up. I had to remember it myself. They were both in that compound. I put my food down and I was waiting for the chim chim. And I don't recall there being chim chim. I remember the sweets. There were Nico sweets. And some stuff, other stuff. But it's possible that maybe by the time the chim chim came, I was just there. When you've stuffed yourself, you refuse even desserts. Dessert that you love, you might refuse it. But when you're starved, you could eat a horse. Some people will tolerate a bad work relationship because they're starved of the dignity of hunger. Because sometimes hunger could be dignifying. Hunger is not always a bad thing. When you're desperate for a job, so desperate that you would accept anything. And then you might, not always, but you might get into a job that you don't like, with skills you would rather not be working with money that's just barely getting by. And because you don't like it, you probably are not giving your best. And so you are being picked on as being lazy, inefficient, ineffective. So you're in a bad place. But you know why you're there? You're starved of something. You're starved of something. And what you're starved of might be the understanding that there is dignity in hunger that comes from working in the space you really want, and knowing that it might take some time to get to the height you want to achieve, but you cannot be here being trampled upon just because you need to eat. Hunger doesn't kill. No. Hopelessness is what kills. So that good that you think you are you are you are being starved of, find it and feed yourself. Feed yourself in 2023. I will feed myself, spirit, soul, and body. I will feed myself. Horses are not edible, right? So why are we using this phrase? I will feed myself with dignity. Please, on the 31st, as WISER ends, as we finish studying the chapter on the 31st, we will go through how to elicit your values. I would try to summarize it as best we can and ask you to continue doing one, two, or three other things. Please try to be here on the 31st, or if you miss it, watch the replay so that we can do how to elicit your values so that you know what you stand for at every point in time and always fall back. This is the year I feed myself. Oh, it's nice to be treated well by someone you love. It's wonderful to be loved. Oh, it's a great thing. Believe me, I know it's sweet to have the attention. If you don't have it, give it to yourself, so that it is only the people that can give you the quality of how you treat yourself that you would accept into your life. If you don't know how to treat yourself, you would accept anything. This year, I will treat myself like a king that I am, like a queen that I am. I would put my own food in my own house. So this year, you might need to change your cutlery and your plates, your crockery and your cutlery. Give yourself, in my house here, I have lovely gold cutlery because I determined I want to take care of myself like a queen. When I bought the China ware for myself, then I had just moved in here. It was lovely white plate with trimmed with gold. And I said, you know what, I want to treat myself this way. Lovely teacup, lovely, put it in a way. Everything in my room is all white. Beddings are white. The way I want. I consciously looked for the particular kind of rug that I want in my room, soft, and I didn't put it in for months because I couldn't afford it, but I wasn't going to settle. Stop settling. Stop using that word. Let me manage it. Let me just manage it. Treat yourself with such dignity that you don't want to manage anything, not from a place of arrogance, but from a place of dignity. Why do I want to? Ask yourself the next time, say, okay, let me just manage this, my shoe like this. Ask yourself why you want to manage this shoe. For two reasons. Is it because I don't know I should wear nicer shoes, or I can't afford a nicer one, even if it is second, third grade or quicker? And what's wrong with buying first grade? And then when you finally can afford a new one, can I plan toward a new one so that I can dress like a queen, not from a place of arrogance, but from a place of being replete? Can I just look around and say, why am I tolerating all this dirt in my room? Why is my room so untidy? Is this how a king or a queen should live? Why am I tolerating it? Why is it okay for me to run out of the house and leave my towel on the bed? And I'm saying things that I lived for so long until it hit me like, Joyce, why are you okay to be in a mess like this? Why is it okay for your bathroom to be so dirty? Why are you comfortable bathing in a dirty place like this? A king that you are. Why is it okay to be unkempt, to wear clothes that are not ironed? Why is it okay to go to bed without brushing your teeth? You need to question yourself and ask yourself why you treat yourself with some level of shabbiness. It means it tells me that we will take anything from anyone if we are treating ourselves like this. Why is it okay to call myself Olodo? I say, no, me now, I'm an Olodo. Why? Why is it okay to say, me, I'm just a lazy person? Why is that all right? Meanwhile, I don't want to live with a lazy person, but I am okay to be the lazy person. Why? Never again. Treat myself with standards. And I've really seen it. In this life, it's difficult for people to treat you with standards higher than what you treat yourself. It's so difficult for people to give you more respect than they see you give yourself. And sometimes we think we're respecting ourselves. And then you wonder why people are treating you anyhow. But look at yourself again. Look at your teeth and see all those things in between your teeth. They are wondering why your teeth are so dirty. So they're treating you dirty. Check it. Check your nails. See how. Look at yourself again and look with the eyes of truth and say, no wonder some people talk to me anyhow like this because my mouth is smelly. Your mouth. We need to be able to tell ourselves. If I'm being serious, if people have been disrespecting you so much, they all can't be wrong. Please go and check why and address it. Go to the mirror and fix it. Appear with more, because we live in a material world. People treat us based on what they see. Please Joyce, don't fool yourself about it. If you go to certain places wearing certain kind of slippers, they will treat you slippersy. That's the life we live in. I will only attract. Why is it okay? Sometimes we wonder, we wonder why is this quality of people who are always coming to chase us. Check yourself. If it's only mumu people, maybe you are looking the laurel bear of mumuish, and that's why mumu people find it all right to sit with you and think it's fine for you to be their girlfriend or wife or boyfriend or husband. Why should this person have the guts to? It's not an arrogant something, it's a something of truth. Why so slippersy? When you've stuffed yourself, you refuse even certain niceties. There's certain things people will offer you and you go, no, I'm fine. I got this. But when you're hungry, I take anything. People who won't settle down, wandering hither and yon, are like restless birds fleeting to and fro. Whether it's settling down in your career, settling down in your concept of God, settling down in your health, settling down in concept of relationship and marriage. People who won't settle. I don't really like the word settling down, but you know what we mean. Settle. Are like restless, always here. I have so many talents. At some point, you will choose one. At some point, you may need to choose one. I don't want to say will because there are no absolutes. At some point, you may need to choose one. Else you'll be like a restless bird fleeting to and fro, and it's no longer acceptable in 2023. So, I'm a multi-potentialite, something. At some point, you would ask yourself, how has my being multi everything served me? How is it serving me? Which one should I use? Which one should I focus on? And you may just need to choose so that I'm not like a restless bird fleeting to and fro. 2023 is my year of decisions. Verse 9, just as lotions and fragrance give sensual delight, a sweet friendship refreshes the soul. Who are you offering sweet friendship this year? Not just who are you taking it from, who are you offering sweet friendship to? Is there such a one? so that I can be refreshing to somebody's soul. I am sweet fragrance myself. I am delight and sunshine, and I will give it to others. Verse 10, don't leave your friends or parents' friends and run home to your family when things get rough. Better a nearby friend than a distant family. It's okay to know the people you live around, work around, and become friends. Don't fall into that trap. Please, don't fall into that trap of saying, in this life, your best friends are the ones you made in primary and secondary school because those are people who knew you when you had nothing. The friends you make now, shut up. I said what? Shut up. Shut up. That's unresearched, unrefined nonsense. It was said by somebody based on a context, but now we have used it to destroy destinies. Your best friends are the people you give the most attention to, you love, and share values with you, even if you met them today, 27th of December 2022. You could become best friends. Stop missing opportunities for good friendships because you're saying your best friends are the ones you met in secondary school or university. That's rubbish, arrant nonsense. And if you've said it before, that's the last time you've ever said it. Don't say it again. Stop it. Please. Stop it. And I know I said it before because at that time I was a little bit of foolish. The best friends are the ones you cultivate. Best friendships are the ones you cultivate. If I decide to become best friends with a neighbor of mine now, guess what? I will cultivate the relationship. I will check on them. I will make sure I really do care about them so that in the day I need something, I have a friend here. Not saying, all my friends, they're here, they're abroad, they're there. Where have you put in the work? I mean, you were in school with those people, you were in the hostel with them for 4 years, 6 years. You had time to develop friendship. Have you spent any time and attention in developing the friendship with the people with you now? Stop saying that rubbish. You build such friendships because you gave it time. There were people who were your classmates then who you were not friends with too. Remember? But when you check it right, it's either you didn't have shared values or you didn't spend enough time together. Same thing now. It's either you don't have shared values or you haven't given it time, attention, and some nurturing. So please, 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 hello, build good friendships, deep quality friendships with people around you. It's possible. It might just take you out of your way, but then again, I'm wondering, that's right there in your way. They are your neighbors. And if it's about hurt of the past stopping you from building relationships, then go and heal. Find what to heal. I said time doesn't heal anything. Healing happens when the elements of healing are in a place. If there is no, what do you call it? The elements that make for blood clots in your blood, no matter how much time you have, in fact, you can bleed to death. Time will not heal a wound when there is, for example, diabetes that hinders blood clotting. Do you understand? It's not about time. It's about what is done in that time. So if you find yourself saying, no, I don't want to make any friends, or the ones before, I gave them my all, they destroyed it. You are not well. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm saying you need healing, else you will cheat yourself out of life. You will miss relationships. You will miss good things because of what happened. And it's no longer in the hand of the people who hurt you. No, it's now in your hand to get healed. Own your healing and find who can help you heal so that you can live your best life and not be cheated because someone wronged you in the past. And that person has gone there, forgotten. In fact, when you see them, you already know what I'm talking about. Become wise, my dear child. Make me happy and make yourself happy. God is saying, make him happy by being wise. Healing is wisdom. If you keep holding on to the past hurt, my child, you're breaking my heart. I've prepared a table here, but you are at the door saying you don't want to enter because the last time you entered the room, somebody shot you arrow. Then nothing the world throws my way will upset me. Be wise, my child. I can flip this and say, be wise, my dear child, and make yourself happy. Then nothing the world throws your way will upset you. You see, it works both ways. Verse 12, a prudent person sees trouble coming and ducks. A simpleton walks in blindly and is clobbered. We have read this verse like maybe 9 times. We need to be prudent so that we can see trouble coming way ahead and duck. Hold tight to collateral on any loan to a stranger. Oh, we have read this one, like maybe this is the fourth time. Be wary of accepting what a transient has pawned. If the person is just passing by and they say, I beg, hold this one for me, let me borrow money from you. Be careful, be careful. If you wake your friend in the early morning by shouting, rise and shine, it will sound to him more like a curse than a blessing. Why do you want to wake up at past 4, past 5 in the morning, come outside and start shouting to your neighbors, rise and shine, it's a great day? That's not the time. So use your 5 W's and 1 H. Who, what, where, when, why, how. When is the best time for this conversation to take place so that it can be fruitful and productive, not counterproductive? Do not, please, my darling sister, do not try to talk about the serious decisions of what school the children are going to when your man, your husband, is about to watch that game that made him close from work early to come and watch football. And you say, no, 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 my family is more important. Oh, auntie, please stop doing that. Oh, come on. We're wiser than that. Hey, auntie, please, 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 stop it. I say, what? Allow him watch the game, because at the end of the game, he probably has more dopamine in his bloodstreams. He's happy and excited, and that's when it is easier to have a tough conversation. Not before the game when he is tensed and wondering if his team will make it. And worse still is if his team loses that game, pack that conversation till the next day. And just because you want the kind of results you want, put in the work, rub his head and say, oh, sorry. Sleep over it, even when it's paining you. But remember, your eyes are on the price of the outcome of the conversation. So put some deposit into the bank, into the emotional bank. I don't say, the arsenal that you're crying for, do they know you? I beg, these are our children that God has given us. We are now wiser than that. I say, oh, so sorry. Sleep, what can I do? Give you some coffee to drink? Some days. You're boiling inside. Oh, this guy you feel like slapping, but you know the result you want. So you say, oh, sorry, and then let him sleep if it's night, or do the thing that would improve his mood. Offer him great sex. And then after that, and please, I'm not making this about women. I'm saying it's both ways. Know when to have the conversation. Know when to have the conversation. It's not when she's trying to put the baby to sleep so that she can get some rest too after a long day at work, or she's trying to cook and pack things for the week. She's, putting things in order. That's when you now come and say, baby, how far? Yeah, that might just not be the time. And that's the time for you to roll up your sleeves, guy, and help her pack the food and put it in the fridge. See what she's trying to get things done. That's not the time to be fresh. And now say she's been unresponsive. This girl, you used to be more responsive than this before. Now you're just behaving anyhow. So that's the time when she's trying to put things. Come on, guy. Don't shout what's supposed to be pleasurable at the wrong time. Timing is everything. A nagging spouse again. Wisdom is telling us about this nagging spouse again. Is like the drip, drip, drip of a leaky faucet. You can't turn it off. You can't get away from it. I will not be that person. I will not be that person. You use steel to sharpen steel. One friend sharpens another. Simple. It's part of my duty to love and to sharpen. And there are times that my friendship will make me ensure that I bring one or two friends into the space I am and say, let me teach you this and that and the other, because that's what friends do. Bam, 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 bam. That's what friends do. 1 million, that's what friends do. Verse 18, if you care for your orchard, you'll enjoy its fruits. If you don't care for your orchard, it will die. If you honor your boss, you'll be honored. If you don't honor your boss, you may not be honored. Oh, honor within what you can afford. Honor it's not just about giving things, it's about giving things. emotions, attention to detail, listening, being there, laughing, playing, suggesting, being creative, and doing your work. If you care for your orchard, you will enjoy its fruits. The relationships that give you something are the relationships you invest in. You hardly would get a lot out of a relationship you did not invest anything in. So this person, in honoring your boss here, can be honoring your parents, can be honoring your children, it can be honoring your mentees, it can be honoring your neighbors. If you honor them, they honor you, and if they don't, then there's something wrong with them, not you. Just as water mirrors your face, so your face mirrors your heart, right? Your face is very likely not going to betray what is hidden within your heart. You can't keep it in there for too long, it will show. Hell has a voracious appetite, and lust just never quits. Lust never quits. So don't ever think we've gotten to the point where no, 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 this can happen, that won't happen. When you see problem coming, as a prudent person, duck. Don't say, Dishi, I got this. You may not have got nothing. Let the thing not got you. Verse 21, the purity of silver and gold is tested by putting them in the fire. The purity of human hearts is tested by giving them a little fame, which may come with a little money, some little power, and then we know your truths. I still do not quite believe. I haven't done any intentional study about it. Maybe that's part of what I will do this morning. I don't really believe, or maybe I haven't studied where the phrase power corrupts came from. I need to study what created that context, the context that created that phrase, because I don't really know that power corrupts. Power exposes the corruption of one's heart. I don't know that it is the power itself that corrupts. Even when I've seen one movie, true life story about one of those guys who was he had a good intention. Was in Kenya? No, one of those Rwandan wars or something. Old movie. It's the same guy who acted 300, I think. What's his name? He's the one that acted in that movie. He started out like an evangelist trying to do right, and after a while became a bad guy himself, killing people. Yes, I could see how power, but I could also see that it was his heart that was not cared for. He stopped caring for his heart and started giving into the negative. So it was power was able to show the truth of who he was, not the power itself. That's me musing right now. I would need Gerald Butler. Thank you. That's his name. He acted that movie. Pound on a fool all you like. You can't pound out foolishness. Foolishness is not beaten out. Foolishness is driven away by replacing foolishness with knowledge, with the right kind of knowledge. So that child, that staff, that spouse, that colleague that you might be trying to pound foolishness out of, who, what, where, when, why, the what, the how you're using won't work. Foolishness is not driven out by pounding, it's by exchanging the quality. So it might not be about punishments anymore, it will be about quality time to teach, to learn, to change beliefs, what we call learning, relearning, and unlearning. That's how foolishness is driven away. Finally, verses 23 to 27, know your sheep by name. Carefully attend to your flocks. Don't take them for granted. Possessions don't last forever, right? Don't take care of your possessions over the people who care for you. Attend to your flock, attend to your staff, attend to the people who make life simpler for you, not just in the possessions. Don't care for money more than you care for people. Know your sheep by name. Carefully attend to your flocks. Then, when the crops are in and the harvest is stored in the barns, you can knit sweaters from lamb's wool. If you didn't care for the lambs in the first place, would you have the wool to knit sweaters? No. If you didn't care for your crops and build your fields, would there be anything to bring into a barn? No. If you didn't care for the goats, would there be ability to sell goods for a profit? When you care for the business, when you care for the people, they are the ones who help generate the profit. There will be plenty of milk and meat to last your family through the winter. Why? Because in the time of summer, in the time of planting, you cared for what was important. You care for what was important. So, what's important to us in 2023? Feeding ourselves and not being left to starving to the point where we take in anything. Caring for the people that we meet along the way with intention to also build good relationships and relations with the people that are already in our space so that we're not always running home to look for the old friends that might have long moved on to other things, right? Being the person who knows when to say what. It's a it's a never-ending process of trying to improve ourselves. I don't know that we ever become that place where we know it all, have it all, be it all. We continue trying to be. We continue. So we will continue to interact with wisdom to get better. And whenever you fall off and do the thing that you said you wouldn't do, don't do this and say, I'm just so useless. I can't even just take. No, no, no. Say, I fell. I'm getting back up. I fell. I'm getting back up. I forgive myself and I go back. I get back on track. I lost my way. I'm back. Don't condemn yourself to destruction. Encourage yourself to success and excellence and moving on. The Machine Gun Preacher. I enjoyed the movie. True story, I believe. Yes, I really enjoyed it. It spoke a lot to motives, intents, checks and balances. Anything done too much to the extreme can lead to a problem in itself. So if you ever can find it and see it, please do. If you're like me, that I watch movies with I watch movies the way I read books. I watch to enjoy. I also watch to check, learn, pick. Not everybody watches movies like that. Some people watch movies just to enjoy and go. That's why sometimes I don't like to watch movies that there's nothing to learn from. I realize these days I don't have the patience for certain kinds of movies I used to like before because I'm like, so where's the learning in here? What did I get out of this? This was a lot of action, yes, but what was the story? What did I get? I couldn't relate this to anything worthy of note. I love you all and I wish you God's best today. I pray for strength to follow through on decisions we have made so that we are not note takers. We are life livers. Cheers to life. Grateful to God for this opportunity to interact with wisdom that we become. We are not just going to be people of wise quotes. No, we will be those with wise lives. We will be, we are, not just, we are, full stop. Cheers. Honorable Sheyi Adisa will be with us tomorrow by the grace of God. Oh, I look forward to interacting with him. I look forward to seeing wisdom through the eyes of such a fine gentleman. And come one, come all. Genevieve, you're no longer allowed to ask, is it on Netflix? No, you are going to Google it and find out if it's on Netflix. Then come and tell us if it's on Netflix. We are not allowed anymore. I just had to say that. No, no. Love you so much. Bye for now. Great day, everyone. Mwah!